A showdown over funding the government and defunding Obamacare awaits Congress when it returns from the August recess. One GOP congressman says if the administration wants to keep paying the bills, it's going to have to slash the cash for the president's health care law. But it's clear, not all Republicans feel the same way. Joining us now, Texas Congressman Steve Stockman. Thank you for your time today, sir.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, let me ask you, it's August recess. Have you been having town hall meetings? What are you hearing at home?
Yes, we've had several town hall meetings, and they want us to hold the line against Obamacare. This president we currently have is running around the country disavowing and asking Republicans to fix the bill that he wrote. And it's a little ironic that we're getting the blame for something that no Republican that I know voted for.
Well, and to be clear, what we're talking about is there is going to be a need to vote for some government funding, or else the government will shut down. My understanding is that what some GOP lawmakers are proposing is tying a vote on that to also making sure it doesn't contain any funds for the president's health care law. As you know, there are those within your own party and certainly those across the aisle who say it's going to look like you are shutting down the government. That's going to hurt people, and the optics are not good regardless of your underlying goal.
Well, the optics is exactly what I'm talking about. I was there in 1994 when we, quote, shut the government down. Most people don't know this, but we actually kept the government open. It was the President Clinton who vetoed the bills. So I authored a bill that says Keep the Government Open Act, which includes all the funding for all the government except for Obamacare. Now, if the president chooses to veto this bill, he's shutting the government down. The problem is that Republicans are terrible at communicating the message that we want the government open, and we offer a bill to keep it open, a continuing resolution, and we're just not going to fund those parts. We agree with the president that this needs time to be delayed. I mean, it's a disaster. He's admitted that by shutting parts of it down already on his own.
How can Republicans do a better job? Because the White House is very skillful. Democrats are very skillful at this. The White House, the administration, spending tens of millions of dollars and roping in all kinds of partners to help them sell the health care law. How do you, as the GOP, compete with that?
Well, not only that, he's using taxpayers' money in some cases to promote the bill, which is horrible in itself. I think we need to do a better job of graphics. When we go out and talk, we shouldn't just use slide rules and calculators. We should also show real people that are impacting by the bill. I have a gentleman in my district, Don, who owns Burger King. He had to cut back employees under 30 hours so that he wouldn't have to fall under the stringent tax provisions in the bill. He's talking about possibly closing 3 franchise. These are serious issues for small business, and anybody like myself that goes out and has town hall meetings, you hear the small business people who are confused by the bill, upset by the bill, and the only way we can solve it is to stop the bill in its tracks. We already had a program called Medicaid for the poor. All you had to do was expand to the people that were poor and couldn't afford health care, and that's all we had to do. We didn't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
How do you respond to those, including former top leaders within your own party, who say that Republicans aren't offering positive alternatives when you talk about repealing the health care law?
Well, we have offered positive alternatives. The problem is, in fact, I just offered one now. The problem is that, again, Republicans are not great at messaging. We typically use, like calculators and mathematical formulas and graphics that, quite frankly, the public doesn't care about or understand. I think we need to bring it down to the level of the individual and showing exactly what's happening to these individuals. And I'm disappointed in our friends in the media. I'm glad you're doing this, but we should focus more on how it's actually impacting negatively the individuals across the country, especially small business owners, which need the break. The president gave a break to big corporations. It's time now to give breaks to individuals.
Well, we see polling across the board from a number of outlets showing that there is a growing concern among the American public about how this bill is going to, or the law now is going to play out. Congressman Stockman, we'll see you back here in a couple weeks. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.